met in the military. After being discharged, he'd moved to Argentina, gotten married, and opened a restaurant. The men continued to stay in touch, and their wives grew to become friends. "I would mind. Everything's been decided," Dasha rebutted with finality. Basically, it wasn't going to happen, so deal with it. With a dramatic sigh, Zafira flopped into a rocking chair in the corner and slouched down. It was a deliberate ploy to drive her mother crazy. Dasha was a stickler for posture. "This sucks big time. We've been landlocked for 5 months. I'm ready for our next adventure already. How much longer are you going to punish me? Don't you always tell Amir and me that if we make a promise we should keep our word? Seems a bit hypocritical if you ask me." Dasha quickly straightened and slammed the drawer shut. She whirled around just as Evan entered the bedroom with a heaping basket of clothes. Hearing the tail end of his daughter's spiel, he looked at Zafira's mutinous expression, then at his wife's face, scrunched in displeasure. "You rang, dear?" he teased, attempting to lighten the mood. Dasha was by far the sterner parent of them. If she didn't run interference, their kids would ski roughshod over him. "Everything okay?" Evan winked at his offspring, whom everyone often referred to as his twin. Their daughter had inherited his bold, unruly eyebrows, molasses eyes, and angular bone structure. On him, combined with the slight cleft in his chin, Evan was masculine and handsome. For Zafira, those bold features against her sandy gold hue were saved being labeled austere by Dasha's soft mouth and nose. "Did I ask you, little girl?" His wife's clipped question was a tell that her patience had officially been stretched wafer thin by their daughter's impertinence. "No, things are not okay, Evan. Deal with your daughter before I have to, please." "What's she going on about?" "She's being extra hard-headed today, refusing to take no as answer about staying behind, as if she has a choice." Rebellion sparked in Zafira's eyes. The cluster of thick lashes framing them fluttered wildly as she tried pleading her case. "I'm simply saying it's not fair, Daddy. I have skills to contribute to this mission. I can read a map better than Neil or JT and bring additional heat if necessary." When Evan appeared to be considering her words, optimism flared sharp and bright in Zafira's heart. His wife pierced him with a cautionary stare which he correctly interpreted. "Don't even think about it." He gave a slight nod of acceptance, and Dasha relaxed. She cherished her husband, but sometimes his unrealistic, the world is your oyster viewpoint wore on her nerves, particularly when dealing with Zafira, who was rapidly following in his daredevil dreamer footsteps, her head in the clouds. The two were kindred spirits, adrenaline junkies, and she had a penchant for adventure that concerned her mother greatly. That little minx loved to be in the thick of things. Whenever Evan and their crew gathered to grill and clean their weapons, wild military exploits were swapped as they smoked their cigars and drank. Zafira would post up right alongside him, eagerly asking them questions about past missions and handling the empty guns and knives with familiar reverence. Evan taught the kids from early adolescence how to be proficient in artillery and hand-to-hand combat. As a result, Zafira displayed a confidence her mother often equated with looking to prove herself better than any man. Evan set the basket down on the floor and grabbed his daughter's hands. He hauled her slender form up and dipped her backward dramatically. His actions earned him a dimpled grin. Evan swayed her side to side, and her lengthy chocolate curls threaded with natural bronze highlights swept the wooden floor. She laughed uncontrollably at his antics. Zafira adored her father. As his only daughter, yes, he did treat her like a princess. However, Evan didn't discriminate in his teachings, or see her as less than her big brother's equal for being a girl. He drew her back up and playfully tweaked the end of Zafira's nose before releasing her. "Yeah, that may be true, Short Stack. However, you lack the experience and muscle that they bring to the table. Say, did I hear you attempting to guilt-trip your mother when I walked in?" "Don't you always say to use every trick in your arsenal, Frogman?" Her father's smile widened at Zafira's incorrigible answer, while her mother threw her hands up in despair. "Heaven help me, she's just like you." "Since when?"